Hey everyone, I'm Bear Brownies. Today we'll be looking at a topic which should be reviewed with each season, the best way to level up your units and shared XP. As not many people seem to be aware of what shared XP is, I'll quickly cover the basics and how this is different from unit XP. Shared XP is a concept introduced in Season 6. It is a shared pool of XP which can be given to any unit to level them up. However, it must be noted that you can only give a unit the exact amount of XP required for them to reach the next level. And you can only have a maximum of 1 million XP banked at any given time. There are 3 ways of gaining shared XP: unit medals, leveling up your units, more on this later, and finally playing with max level units. All units that are played on a battlefield receive unit XP equally. Units which are not played on the battlefield receive some XP, but not as much as if they were played. If the unit is not max level, you receive an additional 10% XP as shared XP. If a unit is max level, all the XP they would have earned becomes shared XP. The score at the end of the game determines your hero and unit XP, glory earned and bronze earned. There is a score cap of 1050, which gives you the maximum amount of XP and coin drop, although the amount can vary between game modes. I'm not 100% sure on the algorithm used to calculate score, however I do know that participation, which involves unit and hero kills, objectives and damage dealt, as well as the length of the game, can affect your score. One other thing to note is that although 1050 provides the highest XP and coin drop, from my experience there seems to be a diminishing return from a score of 900 plus. In case you weren't aware, there are 5 ways of increasing your XP gain from a battle. Firstly, which is obvious to many, is Premium Account. This provides a flat 30% buff to hero/unit XP and bronze earned. Playing in groups, which provides a 5% buff to hero XP and unit XP and bronze earned. Premium units or mercenaries, which provides a flat 10% to all XP and bronze earned. This unit does not need to be played on the battlefield for the buff to come into effect. 50% and 100% unit XP cards. Note that the 2 training cards do not stack together. And finally, Marshal's Handbook, which provides 50% unit XP and hero XP, which stacks with either of the unit training cards. The 3 main ways of training your units through matchmaking are AI battles, siege and field, and expedition. The maximum XP you can gain in siege battles is 22,955 with a score of 1050. I haven't been able to calculate the maximum possible XP to gain in field battles due to extremely long queue times and difficulty in general getting a high score due to much shorter games. However, I believe that the XP gain is similar to that of siege battles, but overall not worth playing unless you wish to complete weekly quests, as the queue times will significantly decrease the XP per hour. Assuming you can get the maximum score in every siege battle games, and each siege battles including queue time taking up to 15 minutes, you'll get around 88,000 unit XP per hour. I was not able to calculate the maximum XP gain for AI battles due to the shortness of the games. Despite getting 14 kills and 175 unit kills and participating in the capture of 5 points in AI battles, I only received a score of 952 due to the length of the game, which was only 5 minutes. This gave me unit XP of 8,702, which translates to about 104,000 XP per hour. Finally, Expedition. Expedition is what I consider to be the best source of unit XP, as it is easy to average a very high score, even with the semi-AFK methods I will describe later on. The max base XP gain possible at 1050 score is 23,424 for Expedition, which is much higher than any of the other game modes described earlier, other than Fief raids. To recap, Expedition 3 provides around 115,000 base XP per hour, siege battles 88,000, and AI training around 104,000. The best units to run in Expedition 3s are Stalwarts and Spear Sergeants for all maps except for Siege of Eagle Pass. For the Eagle Pass map, it is highly recommended to run the following cavalry: Hussars, Laos Rangers, Monastics, Armiger Lancers. For Desert Fortress, it is optional to bring cavalry if solo defending the broken wall and left or right gates. Generally, you do not need to bring additional units. However, if you do not feel confident in being able to complete an expedition without losing your entire unit, then feel free to bring as many maxed out level units as you want. This ensures all the XP you gain goes straight to your shared XP pool. If you use your units correctly, you will incur no losses, which means no unit kit damage. Do note that unit kit damage is much higher than that of siege and field battles, therefore incurring significant loss of units every game will end up being expensive. Although you can start with an unmaxed unit then switch to stalwarts or spear sergeants so that they gain XP, I do not recommend doing this, as the time taken to switch units could mean you will no longer gain the maximum score / XP. The best class overall for PvE and unit training is the longsword and shield. This is because you can heal your units, which lowers the chance of them dying, hence little to no kit loss. The longsword generally has a high DPS versus lightly armored targets and decent AoE abilities. It is also viable to use with full strength as well as tank builds. Fief Raids is a Season 7 specific event which can be played 5 times a week for XP. This is equivalent to the Season 6's Clear Ruins and can count as rebel camps, but does not give as much XP after the initial 5 raids. The current maps on rotation are Fortification and Small Village. The maximum base XP gain possible with a score of 1050 is 73,832. This can be increased by any of the combinations mentioned before for XP up to 217,804 per raid. To get the maximum score of 1050 or as close as possible, it is recommended to party up with 4 other players. Ideally people who are willing to cooperate, as random players will try and rush to complete the Fief raid as fast as possible. Most importantly, you need to work together, clearing out the entire map of NPCs to minimize unit losses. Firstly, you and your group will want to clear out the first 2 points. As you make your way to the final point, it is important that you do not damage the spear sergeants protecting that point. This is where the NPC units will spawn indefinitely. By camping this spot, you can ensure that each player has a troop kill score of between 300 and 500, ensuring that everyone has a good chance of getting a high score. Do note that it is not possible for every player in the group to get the maximum score, and that clearing each point provides participation score, which can greatly influence your end score, more so than the total number of troops killed. I personally use the 100% XP card alongside premium and group XP buff for around 173,000 unit XP per raid. Using my method above for maximum XP, it roughly takes around 12 to 15 minutes to complete each Fief raid, meaning that within an hour and 30 minutes I can get just under 1 million XP for myself and my party members. If you would like to see more guides like this, then let me know down in the comments below. I hope you found this video helpful, and remember to hit that subscribe button.